my friends. I'm out on my back porch, as you can see, and I'm in my with my oblong planter. And would you believe that these are Everglades tomatoes that I still have from my seeds that I planted, and they just keep coming up and up and up. And so, anyway, these were ones that I have as extras in case my Everglades tomatoes ever die off. Well, I pulled them all up from the side of the house finally. I was still getting a pound a picking, but the underneath parts were looking so bad on the side of the house, and they had grown around the side of the house, back here to the back of the house, and it was just getting to be a pain. And besides, the Principali Borghese are just coming out like gangbusters now, so I have those, but I need to find a spot for these. So my purpose for today, though, is to show you how neglectful I have been to these poor worms that are here in my oblong planter. And the quick story of this, for those of you who may be just tuning in, is that these planters, I have two of them, one here and this one over here, and one over there. And I tried to use them as planters, and they just, I'm not getting enough sun here. This is a screened area, and I don't get enough sun in here, but just for a few hours, that nothing really was growing. Now the Everglades tomatoes seem to be doing just fine. Excuse me. And I also over here have this is a sweet potato vine that is just taking over, so I need to move it outside. And I have several little planters here that I bought. It was a great deal. It was under $20. You got 10 of these. You got 10 little trays that went with it. You got loads and loads of, it comes with domes, humidity domes that have an adjustable. Anyway, long story short, all of my seedlings that I started, I just kind of left these because the worms that are in here just will come up underneath. And oops, I just attacked my thing there. But I wanted to show you what happens underneath. Every morning, if I lift these, you can see the worms underneath. Now it's starting to get warm out, and so these worms are diving. But can you see them? Each and every one of these has worms underneath, and there's even worms on the bottom of the tray. Let me show you. You see there's a few little worms. But I have been, there you go, there's big guy. And they're just, it's keeping them cooler. Today we are at 93 degrees. I just checked the humidity. The humidity has actually come down. It's higher in the morning, and it's almost noon out here now. And the humidity is down to 72%. So, but I wanted to finally move you over here so you can see. I'm actually getting growth underneath here, and I need to plant these guys or just give them up. I don't see any under here. This is very dry. This whole section is very dry. Let me just move a few over, and I'll look at the worms. Look at all of those guys go. All of them. Hello, darlings. And I see loads of cocoons here. Whoops, I don't want to hurt anybody. Come out, wherever you are. Going to have to work on that a little bit. I don't want to hurt the worms, but let me move them about here. I need to get some more starts in my little trays here. Beautiful castings. At least it looks like it. And let me just grab a claw so I don't hurt them, and I can show you what's going on. Let's start over. You're not going to find a worm ball, but you'll certainly find worms. My worms never seem to get very large. I mean, I don't have huge worms, but I seem to have a lot in here. Well, now see, it feels cooler down here and it feels more moist. And you can see that there's loads and loads of worms. I started out with just a few. And I mean, I have taken worms out of here. I gave some to my friend. But I haven't been in here for well over a month to feed or to fluff. It's just gotten so hot. For those of you who may not realize it, Florida, we start getting hot in March. And, you know, hot is like, 80-degree days. And then now, today's high was 93. And all through May, it's been like that. Well, this looks like really thin. Isn't that some great looking soil? I mean, if you want to call that castings, but this started out being Miracle Grow potting soil and with a few worms. And then I just started adding, and it wasn't very high, and then I just started adding coffee grounds to it and eggshells. I add bird seed that I've ground up. I add cornstarch, ground cornmeal, strawberry tops, banana peels. I'm trying to think if we've added anything else to it, anything green perhaps. But I mean, you can see, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Worms and worms and worms. And occasionally I'll come out here and I will pull out, when I'm doing my seedlings, and I want something really fine, because if you've been buying things from the store, you know that Miracle Grow potting soil just doesn't look like this. And I have added a little bit of shredded cardboard to it, so the cardboard doesn't break down like it does in a regular worm bin, because it gets dry out here, and so and I come over, whereas in a worm bin, I know most of you don't really add much in the way of water. This has one hole in the bottom of it, right about here. And oh, did you see it? Oh, I thought that was a... But you can see I've got cocoons. I mean, there's cocoons all through it. And I think, as I recall, this was where I started my cocoon nursery several months ago. And this has really gotten too much too dry. And those tomatoes were trying to seed in there, isn't it? But the worms will eat the roots. I mean, if they'll eat, once you're broken down, I mean, they're not going to eat your tomato plant. But let me just do this over here, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. Wow, This has really gotten, and yet there are still worms in that. Bless their hearts. But I started with just a few worms, there weren't many, and then it multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and I can just see them all here. They're not only agitated, I would say they're teed off at me. Are you guys agitated? We sure are. Get away from us. Just leave food and go home, Peggy. Okay, so now we've fluffed and done all that. That's a great thing. And now we're just gonna, I really want to give them a good feeding. Oops, there's another. One last little spot. Oh, sorry. Boy. There's a reason they're called wigglers. Make a nice big trench for them. I really think they need some food. Poor guys. They're living on love. There. That should do it. So, I'm going to give them, this was some banana peel that I had soaked in water. So that is really, and here's some nice cold from the freezer, partially thawed, but not completely. So that should cool everybody down. Those little yellow tails will be so happy. Banana peels, strawberry tops. What more could you ask for? A high shot of potassium. And this is a combination of birdseed and cornmeal. So it kind of gives them both in one. And some eggshell that has been pulverized because the worm doesn't have teeth. I mean, have you ever seen a worm with teeth? Tell me if you have. Anyway, they have a gizzard, and their little mouth kind of comes along and it cups these things, you know, it kind of yum, 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 and then it goes down to the stomach area that has a gizzard, and it rub, you know, the the eggshell is kind of rough, so it helps to rub that food bacteria that's in there, and it helps it to break down. And this is just coffee grounds and tea grounds. That's the difference in color. And so that was it. That was it. That was her feeding. This is middle of June. Can you believe it? Middle of June already. And so we're going to nestle that in there, and then we're going to roll this back on top. I don't cover this. It's the only covering that I have was the little pots. And what I wanted to say to you was, a lot of times when I do come out and I water, I actually bring a half a gallon of water and I just drizzle it all over the top of this. And so, but today I'm just going to use my handy dandy little sprayer. And I don't know if you can see, but it's like, there's a cocoon and there's a cocoon. There's a cocoon there. There's a really nice one. Oops. Hope you can see that. So when they come up, they're making babies. So, you know, what's the purpose of me doing this? Well, it's to have this really great soil. Whenever I'm doing my seedlings, I haven't bought seedling soil in in a long, long time, because I come over and I take some of this and it's really fine. And hello, guy. Be a star. Show everybody how pretty you are. There you go. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Peggy. Oh, just got a shower. Whoa. So, anyway, that was it. That was all I wanted to show you and tell you that I'm having a great day because I finally got to see these guys again, and that it's a beautiful, beautiful day out here. And let me see if I can turn you around, show you how pretty it is out there in the backyard, and tell you that I really appreciate having you guys stopping by, because this is always fun for me. I get to talk to you and tell you what I'm doing for the day. So I hope you will write and tell me what you're doing. It keeps my world very interesting. So if you can, subscribe, come back and see me, and I promise I'll be here. Take care. Bye bye.